As we saw previously, the human heart has four major chambers to it: a right atrium and a left atrium at the top, a right ventricle and a left ventricle at the bottom. The atria and the ventricles are separated from each other by the atrioventricular valves, a tricuspid valve on the right and a bicuspid valve on the left. The ventricles are then separated from the next major blood vessel by semilunar valves, a pulmonary semilunar valve coming away from the right ventricle, and an aortic semilunar valve coming away from the left. What we need to do now is trace blood flow to and through the two separate sides of the heart. The path of blood flow starts with blood returning to the heart from the body as part of the pulmonary circuit of circulation. Two major blood vessels, the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, empty blood into the right atrium. The superior vena cava is draining blood from all of the structures above the heart, while the inferior vena cava is returning blood from all of the structures inferior to the heart. That blood then fills the right atrium. The right atria eventually contracts and helps push blood through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. As the right ventricle starts to fill with blood, the tricuspid valve slams shut, and once pressure gets high enough, the pulmonary semilunar valve opens and allows blood to start traveling into the pulmonary trunk. From the pulmonary trunk, blood gets split out through the pulmonary arteries into the lungs, where we drop off carbon dioxide and pick up a fresh load of oxygen. After that blood has been freshly oxygenated, it returns to the heart through what are called the pulmonary veins. The four pulmonary veins all dump freshly oxygenated blood into the left atrium. The left atrium contracts and squeezes blood down through the mitral or mitral valve, which can also be called the bicuspid valve, into the left ventricle. As the left ventricle starts to fill with blood and pressure increases, it slams the mitral valve close. Eventually, enough pressure builds up that the aortic semilunar valve will start to open. As the ventricle contracts, it pushes blood into the aorta, and from the aorta it branches into all of the major arteries that serve the rest of the body. When it gets out to the body, we drop off oxygen, pick up carbon dioxide, and start the cycle all over again. In this way, blood is constantly being returned to the heart, being pushed from the heart to the lungs, then returning to the left side of the heart, where it's pushed out to the body to deliver a fresh load of oxygen, and then starting the cycle all over again.